Why does India not have good science fiction movies? What is the problem exactly? Why does US have a lot of good science fiction movies coming from a nation with fewer people than India? Even China these days is coming up with good science fiction. Japan, is famous for its anime cartoons and science fiction cartoons. So why does India lag behind in this? Why is science fiction so hard for India? It's because the people who make movies and write fictional stories in this country are usually from the arts field and don't have a firm grasp over physics and engineering. In Western countries, when they have to write a science fiction movie or story, they actually hire physicists, astrophysicists, engineers to write the script. That doesn't happen here. In fact, the people who make movies don't even have basic understanding about physics. There's a movie called Raja Rani Accident. The movie is Raja Rani. If you type Raja Rani accident scene, you'll see a scene where a girl is crossing the road. And this is not a funny movie. This is a serious movie. A girl is crossing the road and a car hits her from here. She flies up, falls down, and then the camera pans from this angle. And for some reason, this chick moves in this direction. I'm not making this up. Google it. Raja Rani accident scene. This means that might have been like at least 100 people on the set that day filming this, shooting this scene. None of them objected. What is supposed to happen in this scene is when you hit the body, the car is supposed to slow down a little bit, equivalent to the mass of the female body, and the female is supposed to like move in this direction, not that. Equal and opposite reaction. So, and the girl will move in the opposite direction with equivalent to the mass of the car. That is how the equation works. So that's just a fucked up example. Let me give you an actual example of good science fiction writing in India itself. There's a movie called Mangalyaan, which is actually based off of the true story, the Mangalyaan mission that we sent to Mars. So in the movie, the actors are Akshay Kumar, Vidya Balan, and Sonakshi Sinha, and a few other more. So there is this scene, where the Mars rover or the Mars satellite is going to miss Mars because of lack of propulsion. And Akshay Kumar gets really angry at Sonakshi Sinha for she's a propulsion engineer or something, and he gets mad at her, and she goes home and she looks at a picture on her cushion of a sailboat. Okay, and she gets this idea to use the dish antenna on the Mangalyaan satellite to use it as a solar sail. And solar sail is an actual thing. And she uses that to give the extra push that the Mangalyaan needs to reach Mars. Now, when I was watching this, it was like 8 years ago. I kind of believed it because I know about solar sail, okay? It's a plausible technology. But a few months ago when I was in the kitchen, I was thinking, wait a minute. I know about solar sails. The solar sail, for those who don't know, is 99% sail made out of mylar or something like that, and 1% satellite. So it's like a 1 or 2 gram coin sized satellite, and mostly it's just a sail because that's the ratio of sail to satellite you need in order to use sunlight to for propulsion. Because photons have no mass, but it has momentum. So the little bit of momentum, you need a whole lot of solar sail for that. So I know about this. So by that logic, shouldn't the Mangalyaan have kilometers wide solar sail to push itself? That makes no sense. And the second reason is you don't need to turn the dish antenna towards the sun. It could be in any direction. It doesn't matter. The surface area matters. Whether the surface area is concave or convex or flat, it doesn't matter. So hang on a minute. That makes no sense. So I Googled this. Did this really happen in the Mangalyaan mission? It turns out this is a complete fabrication by the movie producer and writer. So they fooled me for 8 years. That is good science fiction writing in the Indian context. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they hired an actual astrophysicist or a rocket scientist to write that particular scene into the movie. There is no way an arts major guy is writing that scene into the movie. They don't have the brains for that. Okay, so that is how you actually come up with good science fiction. You actually hire good, actual astrophysicists, physicists, engineers to write the scene. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. It looks like magic. Look at that movie, iRobot, not iRobot, Rajnikant's movie Robot or something like that. It looks like magic. There's no explanation for it. In order to get the rational explanation, you actually have to hire people in the field. So that is the reason why India doesn't produce good science fiction. It's because the science fiction is written by fucking idiots in this country, not actual astrophysicists or physicists or engineers or people like this or scientists. That is the reason. You need to hire people in the field to write good science fiction. Otherwise, it's just mumbo jumbo. It's just, it's like LARPing. You're pretending to write science fiction, but you have no reasoning behind it. It's all magically powered. It's like Thor, something like that. There's no explanation. It's like techno-barbarian style, magic-driven technology, not an explanation as to how did you arrive at that. So that is the whole reason why India doesn't produce, good science fiction movies. It's because they don't hire actual physicists and scientists and engineers to write the scene. Star Trek, when it was being built, they actually hired actual physicists to write the, warp drive and teleportation and this and that kind of science fiction scenes into the movie, into the series. That's how they got it right. It's because they're not artists, they're not arts major people thinking about science fiction, but actual physicists writing plausible, on the edge theories, on the edge science into science fiction to make it sound more reasonable to nerds like me. So that's how they did it, and it's not rocket science. It's not complicated. You just need to hire the right people for that. But fortunately or unfortunately, in this country, we don't do that. But sometimes we do, like in the movie Mangalyaan. So that is why in some movies we get it right, but in most movies they don't. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Until next time, bye.